Hi, welcome back to my channel. My name is Seda and this is my YouTube channel where I talk all about my knitting, my current projects, my finished objects, my acquisitions and some books that I recently purchased. Let's start with my finished project, which is Kloss, which is a pattern by Rowan on Rowan website. This is heavily modified because, sorry, let's put this on first. Oh my god, it's too heavy. I think it's like 3 kilograms or something. I used a lot of yarn for this. Oops. And here is this beauty. Look at this. Isn't this gorgeous? Look at all those cables. So bulky and so big and so cozy. It's like a blanket, right? I'm just cuddled into a big, cabley, twisty blanket. Look at this. Okay, this is heavily modified because on Rowan website, it is suggested that you knit it with Rowan big wool. But I knitted this with Nako Romeo, which is half the metrage of Rowan big wool. So Rowan big wool is, I think, 80 grams for, no, 80 meters for 100 grams, I think. But Nako Romeo is 40 meters for 100 grams. If I'm not mistaken. I just put it down below, so if you can check if you like. I used 15 millimeter needles for the body and 10 millimeter needles for all the ribs. I have this huge 2x2 cuffs and a big collar, again in 2x2, and the button band, again in 2x2. I don't like where I put the first buttonhole. It just doesn't sit right, but it's okay. I'm not gonna change all the button band just for this. I can just put something to hold if I'm too uncomfortable with how it looks, but it's okay for now. It has this seed cable here and here on the sleeves and here at the back. And some cables, again, some regular cables on the front and in the back. And it has, again, double rib hem, 2x2 hem. Yeah, here. Okay, let's talk about this one first. So I knitted this in pieces. First I knitted the back, and then I knitted the fronts and seamed them here like this. And then I picked up stitches for the sleeves and knitted the sleeves in the round, which was kind of hard. The whole project was kind of hard because it's too heavy and it really hurt my hands to deal with such big wool. Knitting in the round was worse because I kind of had to move the whole thing from time to time when I needed to just turn for my sleeve. And then after the sleeves, I picked up stitches for the bottom band, for the 2x2 bottom band. And then I made my bottom band, and all of the things that I'm talking about right now is just whole new math because my gauge is different, my yarn is different. So I just used the all over design, the cable design, the pattern provided. Then knitting the collar just took a whole day for me because let's talk about the bottom band first. As you can see, the bottom band starts and finishes with 2x2, two knit stitches. In order to achieve that, if you know, you know, you need to have multiples of 4 to knit 2x2. But I wanted to start with 2 knit stitches and end with 2 stitches. So that's why I had to add 2 more stitches after that 4 multiply of 4 stitches. And then because the knit stitch, the first knit stitch here at the very start of the rib, it tends to roll inside here. So because I know that, I cast on 3 stitches for the beginning of the rib and for the end of the rib, because I knew that this first line of knit stitches would just roll in and not be visible. So in order to just go with 2x2 in a neat way, I can say, I just cast on 3 knit stitches for the start and for the finish of the rib. So that's how I did for the collar as well. I started with 3 knit stitches and ended with 3 knit stitches. But then I didn't take into account that this would be a rollover neck. So I was thinking that where I was picking up stitches would be the knit stitches, but because it's a rollover neck, it would be vice versa. And I didn't realize that until I was like halfway through the neck. So I had to rip back and collect my stitches again. And I had a hard time to like do all the math for to collect stitches for the neck. And then I collected my stitches and started knitting again with the vice versa, like starting with the 3 purl stitches instead of 3 knit stitches, because it would be rolled over. And then I realized that, yeah, that would be a rolled over neck. So why don't I start picking up stitches from the inside? Normally we do pick the stitches up from the outside, because the pickup line would be on the inside to just avoid the visibility of it. So I ripped it off again and picked up stitches here on the outer line of the cardigan for the neck. And now it looks like this when I roll it over. And if I just roll it like more than I need, then I can just do it, because there is no pickup stitch line here inside. It's all on the outside under this rolled over neck piece. So that big and cozy, it was not a fun knit. I didn't like knitting it, but I was really excited to see the end result, because it looks really, really good and so fancy and so chic. So I kept just knitting it, but I don't think that I would be knitting something big like this again. So that's Kloss. And my second whip is a gift knit, which is a scarf. This is the Joy Scarf by Alex Collins Designs. I have less stitches than the pattern suggests, because my gauge is different. My gauge is larger, because I'm using Drops Nepal for this gorgeous scarf. And look at this broken rib stitch. I have knitted like this much, and I have 3 balls left, so I'll be knitting them all until I finish all my balls, and then it will be finished. I'm hoping to finish this in a week before the new year, if I can. But I'm only knitting this outside the house. I'm not knitting it at home. So it's going kind of slowly. There is an I-cord on both sides, and that is a broken rib stitch, which looks really, really nice. It's a very fun and quick knit, and it's a free pattern, if you don't know. If you're looking for a fancy scarf to knit for yourself or for your loved one, just check this pattern, which is a free pattern. I'll link it down below. And I'm knitting this on 5mm needles, US 8. Another not so enjoyable knit that I'm working on is this little clutch. The pattern has some colorful, like each house is different and the roofs are in different colors in the pattern. But I wanted to go for a monochromatic look just to see. And I didn't like them. This is, the houses are in duplicate stitch. And this is my first time doing a duplicate stitch and I don't like it. This is a stranded color work here and here at the bottom, but these houses are all duplicate stitch. And I'm knitting this on 2.5mm needles. So you start with this double knitted bottom first and then pick up stitches like around it. And then you do this stranded color work and knit some certain rounds, and then do those duplicate stitch houses. And then I'll have some more stranded color work here at the top, and then I'll decrease for the zipper part, and then I'll sew in my zipper. I don't know that I'll make a lining for it or not. I'm not sure. I think I will. Now that I see it, it's cute, but I don't like working on it. Actually I hate it doing this duplicate stitch, so I just wanted to just get it over with. Yeah, these are my little houses. And I'm using Fibra Natura Shepherd's Own, which I'm also using for my book club cardigan. And I am so close to finishing it. I started to knit the button band, and I have some buttonholes here. In the pattern, Sari instructs you to pick up the stitches with smaller needles and knit the button band in the main needle, 4mm needles, US 6. But she only instructs you to pick up the stitches with smaller needles because it's easier. It's easier to pick up stitches with smaller needles. You're knitting the button band in the main needle size, which is US 6 4mm needles. I started to knit it in 4mm needles as the pattern suggests, but then I thought it was kind of loose and I didn't like the look of it. Then I sent a DM to Savannah, who also is a YouTuber here, who has a podcast channel which I really enjoy watching. She just recently finished her book club cardigan, and I asked her, I sent a picture to her and I asked her if mine was correct, because I thought it was kind of loose. She was so kind to answer that it was going well, that hers looked pretty much as the same as mine. But until she answered, I was too quick and I just ripped everything off and started to knit the button band with 3.5mm needles. Now I'm knitting my button band with 3.5mm needles, and I think it's going better right now. So let me put this on. Here is the button band, and I think it's going very well right now. I'll have pockets here, like an afterthought, pockets like the afterthought heel. If you know how to knit socks. And then this will be ready to block, and I hope I'll finish this before next year, before the new year. I am knitting this with the same yarn as my clutch, which is Fibra Natura Shepherd's Zone, which is a pretty rustic yarn, and I'm holding it double with Feza Kid Mohair, which is not silk. Next is the Cumulus Blouse by Petite Knit, and this would be my New Year's Eve sweater. I haven't done with the body yet, but I was afraid that I was going out of yarn, so I decided to knit the sleeves first. I finished the first sleeve. Now I'm knitting the second sleeve, and then I'll finish the body with the rest of the yarn. I'm knitting this on 5mm needles, but the pattern calls for 4.5mm needles, which is US 7. And as usual, I went up a needle size because I'm a tight knitter, and I am using Flipucci Fluff, which is 80% Angora and 20% PA. And this is a very soft and very luxurious yarn. I am in love with this sweater and with this yarn. I still have to finish this with the Kitchener stitch or with grafting. And yeah, I still have half a sleeve and somebody to go. I'm really excited about this because it's so fluffy and so soft and so chic. Like it's the perfect Christmas sweater, right? Yay! My other exciting whip is the Inga sweater by Lene Holm Samsø, or also known as Linnet, which is an all-over color work with this is supposed to be a mock neck, but mine has become a turtleneck, which is fine. I am kind of finished with the first sleeve, and I am knitting the second sleeve. I just stopped with the body because I thought I was I was actually running out of yarn. I just had 2 bowls, including this, the one that I'm working, in blue and three balls of, or two, in beige color. And it wouldn't be enough. So I decided to knit the sleeves, and I haven't bound off the sleeve because I am not sure that I will just keep on knitting it in color work, I'll just go with the main yarn color and go on to knit the cuff section. And I here somewhere, now I can't see it, I made a mistake in color, and it was pretty visible because I knitted it in blue instead of beige, and then I duplicate stitched it, and now it's gone. I can't even tell where it was. It was somewhere here. It was pretty obvious because, well, you know, it's blue instead of white. Now I can't even see it. Good work. I wanted to order more of these yarns, but when I checked on the website, it was the blue one was not in stock anymore. It was out of stock, so I didn't know what to do, and I just put the sweater aside. I was thinking to just email Rowan and ask for like the same lot number, but then customs issues when you order from abroad in Turkey is kind of a hell. I had that big issue with those books, which I'll tell you in a minute. But if you want to order anything from abroad, it has to be under 30 euros, including shipping. But just now, I learned that it's now 27 euros, including shipping, because they'll just assume, even though if it's free shipping, they'll just assume the 3 euros would be for shipping. We can't even order a sweater quantity of yarn from abroad, because if you just exceed that limit, that 27 euro limit, the money that they charge for you to get the shipment is like a lot more than the amount that you purchase whatever you purchased. With these books, for the books, the euro limit is 150, not 27 or 30, including shipping. So mine was, I think, 130 something with all these books. And then, even though all of them were books, FedEx Turkey, they just emailed me and they told me that because they're like over 30 euros, you can either leave them for the customs and pay for nothing, and then it will just be their goods. That's the first option. Or you can send them back. I think they charge $100 to send them back. Or you can just connect with like this firm, which is a customs firm, customs relations firm, something. It's just a company that does all the paperwork and all the things that needed to be done for you to get your goods with a lot of extra money. And one of my friends, she ordered some books as well, and they charged her like her purchase was like 120 something or 30 something, and they charged her like 4 or 5 times then the purchase amount, if I'm not mistaken. It's crazy, you know. And then we emailed them back and we rejected all of the options. I told them to just open the package and see for themselves that they're all publications. And they did that, and they told that they would inform me back after they just opened the package and see what actually was inside. So there was no reply back. And then one day they were at my door. But Laine, they were amazing. They were so cooperative. They were so nice, especially Auntie. I am really thankful for them, for the whole procedure, for the whole time that I had struggled. They were so helpful. They were so cooperative, and yeah, I am so thankful for Laine. And yeah, that is the Inga sweater, and I'm knitting this with Rowan Alpaca Soft DK, which is one of my favorite yarns. Very soft and so nice for color work as well. This part I blocked. They just blend so nicely after blocking. So yeah, I'm knitting this in size 3 in 4.5mm needles, use 7 I guess. And yeah, and this is my first time all over color work sweater. This has raglan increases and some short rows as well. That's a gorgeous design. It looks so good. Yeah. And I don't think that I can finish this year. I think this will just drag through the new year, 25. And I have a fresh cast on, which is the Stockholm Hat by Giftknits. I just purchased one of my favorite yarns. Gazelle Baby Alpaca, which is a very soft yarn. And this is the same yarn that I knitted my penny gloves and kilometer scarf. Oops. Yeah, this is the same yarn. This is a pure color, natural undyed, and that's another pure color, natural undyed. The pattern calls for 3 strands of yarn, 2 fingering held together, and a strand of mohair. But this is a heavy fingering, which is 320 meters or 350 yards in 100 grams. But Giftknits uses 2 strands of Arveda and 1 strand of Tilia held together. Fil Colonna Arveda is 210 meters in 50 grams. So this is a heavy fingering, so I'm just knitting this, holding 2 strands double without mohair. So that's 2 strands of baby alpaca, and this is like this sardine grip. So you start this with Italian cast on or tubular cast on, which is a very elastic cast on, but the pattern instructs just after the cast on to connect it in the round, and just be aware that your stitches are not twisted. But for the Italian cast on, I think it's impossible. I'm not sure if I can ever do that. So I just knitted 1 row just in flat and then connected the stitches in the round. But now my first stitch is not a knit stitch, but a purl stitch. I don't think that it will make much difference, but if it does, I'll just move my stitch marker just a stitch before or after. So I am hoping to finish this in a couple of days if I can, but I have a lot of whips to finish this week, so I don't know. And the books, I have a lot of books. Some of them, if you've seen my winter plans, you might have seen some of them in that video. I'll just link it down below. And maybe I'll make a separate video to talk about all of these, because I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 new books. But I'll just show you just quickly. The first one is O'Shea and Friends, Cynthia Valley, if I'm pronouncing it correctly. She starts all her patterns from the nose, and just there's no seam in her patterns. And Veronica Lindberg, Kto Kika, Knits to Wear. I am sure you've already seen this book like everywhere, and I'm so excited to knit from this. That's the latest issue of Lena, the 23rd issue, winter 25, and I am definitely knitting this black and white color work on the cover. Yeah. Echoes by Susan Crawford. I have been eyeing on this book for a very long time. Now I have it. So exciting. There's some very gorgeous colorwork garments in this book. And 52 weeks of accessories from Lena. And while they're opening my package, this was on the top, so they just cut it. So they harmed my book. I don't know what to say. But I have my books, and I'm so happy about it. So I think that's pretty much it, and I think that's the last podcast of the year. Yeah. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Happy New Year. Merry Christmas.